Hello, good day viewers. Welcome to another lesson. So in this lesson, I'm going to present on civic education. So as you can see, this is a paper that was written in 2021 for internal candidates. So we are going to answer section A, okay? Section A. Then we are also going to answer part of section B. Okay, so make sure that we are moving together. So let's now look at the questions. All right, so here is our section A. So we are going to start with question 1. So the instructions are saying answer all the questions in this section in the answer booklet provided by putting a cross on the letter you have chosen as your answer. So here we don't have any answer booklet that is given in an exam. So we are going to start with question 1. The constitution that can be altered by 2/3 majority is said to be A. Flexible constitution, B. Rigid constitution, C. Unwritten constitution, D. Written constitution. So the constitution that can be altered by 2/3 majority is said to be a flexible constitution. So we now move on to question 2. Okay, so we now come to question 2. Which characteristic of elections in good governance allows stakeholders to criticize the government in constructive ways and offer alternative suggestions for improved governance? A. Competitive, B. Decisive, C. Inclusive, D. Periodic. So the characteristics of election in good governance that allow stakeholders to criticize the government in constructive ways and offer alternative suggestions for improved governance is competitive. Okay, that is our answer. We now come to question 3. All right, so here is our question 3. Njepa, a naturalized citizen, lost his citizenship after being expelled from the country of residence by that state. This kind of expulsion is called A. Forced expulsion, B. Forced repatriation, C. Voluntary expulsion, D. Voluntary repatriation. Okay, so here we are being told that Njepa is a naturalized citizen who lost his citizenship after being expelled from the country of residence by that state. So this kind of expulsion is called, okay, this is called forced repatriation. So the answer there on question 3, it's a B. We now come to question 4. Question 4 reads, the following is true about civil and political rights except one. They dash. A. They allow individuals to seek legal redress. B. They are enforceable in the courts of law. C. They compel the government not to interfere with the law. D. They do not cost much, hence they are forcible. So here they are saying which one is true about civil and political rights. So all these are true about civil and political rights, okay, except one, which is they do not cost much, hence they are enforceable. So number 4, the correct answer is D. Number 5, question 5 reads, the vision of the National Anti-Corruption Police, NACP, is to dash. A. Have a nation and its people that are zero tolerance to corruption. B. Offer provisions for seizure or recovery of stolen assets or earnings. C. Provide protection to whistleblowers and complainants on corruption. D. Provide room for bargain or agreement to the accused people. So the vision of the National Anti-Corruption Police is to have a nation and its people that are zero tolerance to corruption. So the correct answer here is A. We now come to question 6. Question 6 reads, the type of learning in which a child learns by imitating the behavior of its family members and friends or on television from the characters portrayed in the film is called A. Formal, B, informal learning, C, non-formal learning, D, technical learning. So the type of learning in which a child learns by imitating the behavior of its family members and friends, or imitating from what is being done on the television, is called informal learning. So the correct answer is B. We now come to question 7. Question 7 reads, how can someone keep away from illicit drugs like cocaine? So illicit drugs, these are drugs that are illegal. So how can someone keep away from illegal drugs like cocaine? By dash. A, by associating with non-users. B, by doing what others are doing. C, by having the drugs readily available. D, by trying new drugs on the market. So the way someone can keep away from illicit drugs like cocaine is by associating with non-users, by associating with people who do not use drugs. So 7, the answer is A. We are now on question 8. Question 8 reads, Mrs. Karonga, a social worker from the Human Rights Commission, visited Mandanda community and explained to the people that human rights are absolute and undeniable. Which feature of the human rights explain the above statement? A, inalienable. B, indivisible. C, inherent. D, universal. So which of these human rights explain the term that human rights are absolute and undeniable? So the correct answer here on 8, it's what? A, which is inalienable. Okay, so inalienable explains that human rights are absolute and undeniable. We now come to question 9. Question 9 reads, which of the following activities does not fall under civil society activities? A, attending seminars. B, reading posters. C, signing a petition. D, taking legal demonstrations. So which of the following activities does not fall under the civil society activities? So it's signing a petition. So number 9, the correct answer is C. So we now come to question 10. So question 10, they have given us first the statement. Study the statement below and answer question 10 and 11. So after we read this statement, you are going to answer two questions, 10 and 11. Joseph borrowed 1,200 kwacha from NatSave Bank to buy a popcorn machine for his new business. He signed an agreement with the bank at an interest rate of 10% for a 1-year loan. Question 10. What was the interest on the loan borrowed by Joseph? So we need to find interest. Interest is equal to principal times rate times time. So here, when we organize our data, principal is the money that is borrowed from the bank, or the money that we invest into the bank. It's called the principal. So we are told that he borrowed 1,200. So the principal is 1,200. Then the rate, we have been told that he signed an agreement with the bank at an interest rate of 10%. So the rate was a 10%. And then time. Okay, so for 1 year. So the time is 1. So we are going to say interest is equal to, the principal is 1,200 times 10 times 1. So over 100. Why? Because the rate was a 10%, so it should be divided by 100. So from here you say interest is equal to, you can cancel these two zeros. Okay, so we are going to have 12 times 10, because 10 times 1 is 10. So the interest is going to be 12 times 10 to be 120 kwacha. So let us look at our option right here. A, 100 kwacha. B, 120. C, 200. D, 220. So the correct answer here is a B, 120 kwacha. Alright, so the instructions we are saying, we also answer question 11. So how much was Joseph supposed to pay the bank after 1 year? So the interest was 120. That was the interest, 120. And he got 1,200 from the bank. So you just need to add these two. 1,200, the money that he borrowed, plus the 120. We see how much he's supposed to pay the bank. So 0 plus 0 is 0, 0 plus 2 is 2, 2 plus 1 is 3, 1 plus 0 it's 1. So Joseph was supposed to pay 1,320. So the correct answer here is A. Alright, so we come to question 12. So for question 12, it doesn't have anything to do with what you have been doing on question 10 and 11. So question 12, the Citizens Advice Bureau is a branch of the Law Association of Zambia that offers litigation on a pro bono basis. Which of the following statements best explains pro bono? A. Final resolution that makes one not to go back to court. B. Free legal advice centers where people get from legal advice. C. Free legal services that every lawyer offers to the community. D. The measure of the proof brought against the accused. So they want us to choose the best statement that explains the term pro bono. So pro bono is just these are free legal services that every lawyer offers to the community. So the correct answer is C. So we now come to question 13. So question 13 reads, Mr. Machishi, a civic education teacher, asked his learners about the best way of combating gender-based violence. Which one was not the best way? Okay, so they want us to identify which one was not the best way of putting an end to gender-based violence. So A. Assisting couples to discuss and resolve their problems. B. Dissolving a spouse who is troublesome. C. Reporting cases of gender-based violence to the police. D. Speaking out about the problem. So they want us to identify which one was not the best way. Okay, so which one was not the best way is divorcing a spouse who is troublesome. So the correct answer here is B. We now come to question 14. In a situation where there is violence among political parties concerned during campaigns for an election, there is likely to be hatred and conflicts among members of the parties. What is the best method of resolving such conflicts? A. Arbitration. B. Counseling. C. Litigation. D. Mitigation. So the best way that can be used to resolve such conflicts is litigation, which is on C right here. So we now come to question 15. How can you resolve cases of child labor in your community as a social worker? By A. Advising children not to be employed. B. By beating all the people abusing children. C. By charging all the children accepting child labor. D. Educating child abusers on the effects of child labor. So how can you resolve cases of child labor in your community as a social worker? So this can only be done by educating child abusers on the effects of what? Child labor. So the correct answer there on 15, it's a what? It's a D. So let us now look at question 16. So question 16 reads, which provision of the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, UNCRC, requires the government to assist a child to get back the identity that has been unlawfully taken away? A. Basic health and welfare. B. Civil rights and freedoms. C. Family environments and care. D. Leisure and cultural activities. So on question 16, they want us to identify, okay, they want us to identify how a child can be helped to get back their identity that has been unlawfully taken away. So here the only government agents that can help, it's only B, where we have civil rights and freedoms. So we have answered question 16. Let us now look at question 17. So on question 17, the question reads, Masauso, a dependent to the late Mr. Longa, was given a reasonably small share of the estate. What steps should be taken to address this problem? He should A. Give away the portion to the state. B. Give the remaining share to the relatives. C. Share the portion to the spouse and children. D. Take his case to the court of law. Okay? So, Masa, also a dependent to the late Mr. Longa, was given unreasonably small share of the estate. So the best step that should be taken to address this problem, Masa also should take his case to the court of law. That's the only way it can be helped. So the correct answer on 17 is C, D. We now come to question 18. So under question 18, the question reads, what is the condition of life which is limited by malnutrition, illiteracy, disease, high infant mortality, and low life expectancy? Code A. Absolute poverty. B. Human condition. C. Poverty dantam. C. Relative poverty. So this is called absolute poverty. So the correct answer is C, A. We now come to question 19. Okay, and question 20. So under question 19, the question reads, the Zambia Environmental Management Agency, ZIMA, has been discouraging mourners from wrapping plastics on flowers put on graves because plastics are A. biodegradable, B. good for the environment, C. non-biodegradable, D. organic substances. So question 19, the best answer is C. The reason why they refuse that is because plastics are non-biodegradable. Okay, it's difficult for them to be decomposed. It takes time. So we now come to question 20. Question 20 reads, why is the world today referred to as a global village? This is because A. all nations and people freely interact and depend on each other. B. each nation's welfare depends on the decisions of other nations. C. each nation's well-being depends on the goods of other nations. D. the developed nations give aid to less developed nations. So why the world today is referred to as a global village is because all nations and people freely interact and depend on each other. So the best answer there was A. So we are done answering section A from 1 to 20. Let us now look at some of the questions from section B. Alright, so we now come to section B. So under section B, it was carrying 40 marks. So there are 5 questions in this section. Answer all the questions in the answer booklet provided. Question 1, with reference to the Zambian constitution, answer the questions below. So we have to refer to the Zambian constitution, these questions that we are answering under question 1. Question 1A, explain the concept constitution. So they want us to explain the concept constitution. So how can we explain the concept constitution? Alright, so to explain the term constitution, there are many ways that we can explain the term constitution. Okay, so depending with the one that you are comfortable with. We can say constitution is a set of laws that govern a country. Okay, or we can say constitution is a body of fundamental principles according to which a country or organization is governed. So you can say constitution is a body of a constitution is a body of fundamental principles according to which a country to which a country or organization is governed. So remember what I've said. You can come up with many definitions. You can use any definition that you are comfortable with. Okay, so that is how we can define a constitution, or we can just say a constitution. Remember, it was just carrying 2 marks. We can say a constitution is a set of laws that govern a country. So there are many definitions that we can write. You can also say a constitution is a system of laws, customs, and principles usually written down according to which a country or an organization is governed. So we have answered our question A1. Question 1A. Let us now move on to question B. All right, so we are just from answering question A. We now come to question B. Identify the forms of the constitution. So the forms of a constitution, we can say we have flexible constitution. Okay, we also have rigid constitution. So you can say flexible constitution. This is for question B. Or a rigid constitution. Okay, so we have answered our question B. We now come to question C right here. Why did Zambia inherit the Northern Rhodesia self-government constitution of 1963? Why did Zambia inherit the Northern Rhodesia self-government constitution of 1963? So here there are many reasons that you can give. So the first one was to lay a foundation on which Zambia can build their constitution. So remember, Zambia didn't have a constitution, so they needed just to inherit the constitution that was used by Northern Rhodesia, so that their foundation, as they are beginning to rule themselves, they can have where they can copy from. Okay, so let us write the answer. All right, so we are now answering for question C. So we have said to lay a foundation on which Zambia can build. Okay, which Zambia can build her constitution. So this is the reason why Zambia had to inherit the constitution of the Northern Rhodesia, so that they lay a foundation on which Zambia can build her constitution. So that is how you can answer that question. We now move on to question D. Okay, so we now come to question D right here. Which Constitutional Review Commission limited the enjoyment of the rights and freedoms of individuals? So the Constitutional Review Commission that limited the enjoyment of the rights and freedom of individuals was the Chona Constitution. So this is just a 1 mark. Chona Constitutional Review Commission. Okay, so this is our answer. So this is the constitution that limited the enjoyment of rights and freedom of individuals, the Chona Constitutional Review Commission. So we now come to question E right here. Why are checks and balances important in relation to a constitution? Why are checks and balances important in relation to a constitution. So there are main reasons why checks and balances are important in relation to a constitution. The first reason is that it prevents one person from becoming too powerful. So if there are no checks and balances, many people can become too powerful because they have been given that mandate toward everything. Okay. Apart from that, it promotes the rule of what? The rule of law. That's why it's important to have checks and balances in a country. Okay. Apart from that, we can also say that it supports the doctrine of separation of powers. So these can be the answers. Remember, it's just a 1 mark, so you can write any of these. So let's write the answers. All right, so we have said that you can write they just 1 to 1, but you can come up with many points. I can give you many points. So we have said it promotes the rule of law. It promotes the rule of law. That's why it's important to have checks and balances. Rule of law. Okay. Or you can say it prevents one person. It prevents one person. Prevents one person from becoming too powerful. Okay, or you can say it supports or you can say it supports the doctrine. It supports the doctrine of separation of powers. So from these answers, you can write 1. You'll be marked. Any of these will be marked. Okay, so let us now look at our next question. All right, so we've answered question E. We can now answer question F. So we are going to end on this question F. So meaning that for this past paper 2021, we have answered section A ending up to section B, question 1 only. So there are these other questions that are remaining. During the second part of the video, they will be answered. So let us look at question F. Why is the Constitution said to be the foundation of democracy? Why is the Constitution said to be the foundation of democracy? So there are many reasons why the Constitution is said to be the foundation of democracy. The first reason you can say that it is because both the governors and the governed must operate within the confines of the what? Of the law. Apart from that, because it limits the powers of the government, that's why it is considered to be the foundation of what? Democracy. So any of these you can write as your answer. Remember, it was just 1 mark. So we can say because it limits the powers of the government. So you can write this because it limits the powers of the government, or you can write the other one that I've told you that because both the governors and the governed must operate within the confines of the what? Of the law. No one is above the law. So thank you so much, everybody. We've come to the end of our lesson. This has been your presenter, Mr. Mlenga. Bye bye.